The movie begins as the holidays approached in December 2005. A love-struck boy, Alex, hides his feelings for his closest childhood friend in the town of Vanga, Anna. He has always enjoyed being with her, as they both enjoy music. Alex is an only child, living with his mother, Clara, and his father, Bjorn, who always tries hard to bond with him. During a plane ride, he and his father noticed a Russian oil tanker traveling across Swedish waters. This prompts Bjorn, who works at a power plant, to take pictures, as he has suspicions about its motives. Later at home, news about the Russian oil shipping is reported while Alex and his mother discuss presents for Christmas. As the boy asks for an instrument to play with, Bjorn gets mad, protesting that giving Alex something not worthwhile is a waste of time. He then heads out to his workshop, where he has been secretly building a guitar for his son from spare wooden pieces. He plans to give it to him as a Christmas present. As days pass, Alex and Anna become more enthused with playing music, having spent most of their time practicing on the church's old piano. To impress her, the boy creates a song, drawing the piano keys as a guide so that Anna can play it on Christmas Day. As December 25th rolls in, Alex and his family gather in the living room to open gifts. Clara gives her husband an expensive chainsaw, which immediately gets his attention as he takes it straight to the workshop. His family does not know that Bjorn needs the excuse to grab the newly built guitar and surprise Alex. Unfortunately, to his surprise, Clara had surprised Alex with a store-bought guitar she paid for with extra house funds. Despite the boy's overwhelming happiness to receive an instrument, the prideful Bjorn masks his hurt feelings by angrily blaming Clara for spoiling the boy and spending their excess money. He takes the guitar away from Alex and returns to the workshop to destroy it, along with the one he built for his son. A disappointed Alex lies in his bed, hearing his parents have an intense argument. In the middle of the night, an exasperated Clara sneaks out of the house. She leaves Alex a letter apologizing for leaving. To cope with his sadness, he visits Anna to give her the song he wrote, not knowing she and her mother, Eva, had packed up to relocate to Stockholm. Clenching the gift in his hand, he decides to leave, but Anna sees him and tries to console him about his problem. The frustrated young boy shouts at her, forcing Anna to return to the car and leave without saying goodbye. Some more days pass, and as the relationship between Alex and his father, Bjorn, becomes uneasy. During dinner, he falls speechless, refusing to eat anything. As his father scolds him, the boy expresses his hatred for him. Visibly fed up, he packs his things and leaves the house, despite Bjorn's protest. Alex moves in with his uncle, Eric, who offers him to stay in a room in the middle of a renovation. While settling in, he tries calling his mom but gets no signal. Throwing the phone out of frustration, he accidentally discovers a piano hidden under the covers. He is then compelled to play it and channel all his sadness through the music. 10 years passed, and Alex is now a successful musician playing at different venues across Sweden. After another standout show, his manager Sherrick excitedly tells him about an opportunity to play in Sweden. He tries to mull it before making a final decision as he travels the road. News on the radio report about multiple explosions happening in the metropolis. Suddenly, Alex is shocked to see a nearby bridge collapse as people try to evacuate the area. He immediately calls his mother, Clara, but receives a voicemail instead. In his apartment, Alex watches more reports about the incident, as the government believes it to be an act of terrorism. He then gets an urgent call from his uncle Eric. His mother died from one of the explosions while she was on board a commuter train. He visits his uncle in the morning, where he is informed that he needs to come with him to Vanga to arrange a funeral for Clara. Though initially declining because of his flight to Berlin on Friday, he is later convinced to change his plans when he discovers the song he wrote for Anna years ago, which was inside one of the storage boxes. He then calls the priest of the local church about acquiring the old piano. Meanwhile, in Vanga, Bjorn has been living miserably without his family for years. All his energy has now been focused solely on working at the power plant. During the day before midsummer, he and his co-workers talk about the recent attacks in Sweden. Bjorn theorizes that Russia is involved due to the closure of the Nord Stream gas pipeline that runs through the Baltic Sea. Despite his colleagues' doubts about his claims, he does his best to secure all the locks and seals around the plant. Later in the afternoon, he is about to park his car when he sees another vehicle parked in front of the power station gate. As soon as he approaches, he sees a German-speaking Russian man picking berries and warns him to vacate the area. The man obliges, but just as he gets in his car, Bjorn decides to ask for his license and registration to check his identity. Although, after turning his back for 1 second, he is knocked unconscious by the trespasser with a shovel. Awakening at dawn, he returns to his house. He frantically calls emergency services about the incident, believing it is connected to the recent explosions. Simultaneously, he tries to reach his co-workers, Lasse and Connie, but only gets a hold of the latter. Unfortunately, Connie dismisses his ideas, thinking he was drunk from the previous night. With no one to help or take him seriously, he decides to investigate the matter independently. With midsummer finally commencing, the townsfolk gather in the open field to celebrate with their loved ones. Bjorn uses the opportunity to poke around and ask people for information about the Russian, who may be lurking around the neighborhood. While this is going on, Alex and Eric are attending the funeral for Clara. Afterward, the young man gets a call from the priest, informing him that the piano is under the care of the choir leader and that he should go and get it. Meanwhile, as residents enjoy the festivities, Bjorn looks around and spots the shady Russian man wearing a ball cap but loses him by the picnic area. Returning home, he tries using the phone line. Still, he stops when he watches the news report about the limited network connectivity around Sweden due to some interference. Later at the church, Alex is surprised to discover that the choir leader is none other than Anna. They talk for a while and spend some lost time together, separated since Anna's mother took a sensitive position as a countryside minister in the capital. She reveals that she no longer stays with her, choosing to be with her ailing grandmother back in the village. She then invites Alex back to her house to reminisce some more. Meanwhile, Bjorn returns to the power station and continues calling for any emergency responders and available personnel to assist him, despite everyone taking a holiday off. He is convinced that Russian soldiers have invaded Sweden, posing as German tourists to gain access to certain areas, including the electrical grid. With no one picking up, he finds the courage to call Alex but gets a dead dial tone, frustrating him. Outside, the skies have become gloomy, as rain clouds blanket Sweden with eerie dankness. Minister Eva is awakened in the morning by the police, prompting her to come with them to City Hall. Once there, she sees members, staff, and associates gathering in the lobby to hear about the Prime Minister's declaration to raise the country to a high alert status due to impending war, handing the Riksdag control to the military. This distresses everyone, as they are asked to evacuate and tell no one about the situation. Eva immediately heads down to the parking lot to call Anna. Still, the network issues plaguing the nation are barring her from getting a stable connection. At breakfast, Alex asks about the pictures on her refrigerator when she reveals that she has raised a family, having given birth to a daughter, Aileen, who is now 5 years old. Feeling betrayed by the revelation, he leaves her house abruptly without hesitation. Driving at a crossroads, he stops for a moment to process his emotions when suddenly, an out-of-control delivery truck crashes into him. The young man survives and slowly steps out of the vehicle to inspect the truck driver, who looks confused and out of sync with reality. Returning to his car, he sees another vehicle crash into a tree. He drives away, completely bewildered by what he witnessed. News reports on the radio suggest that citizens are quarantined in different locations around the country. Eva is trying to cross the bridge in the city when a patrolman requests her to turn back due to the road closure. A car then rams straight at the barricade, followed by another vehicle slamming into Eva hard. Slowly, more and more people recklessly drive and crash into each other for some unknown reason. Though Eva is injured, she forces herself to move out of the wreck, as a police cruiser pins her against the railing but gets slammed by another car. She crawls inside another vehicle and drives off while seeing the Parliament building explode. Meanwhile, Bjorn busies himself with monitoring the plant when an alarm from a connecting power plant is triggered, followed by others. As he checks the map on screen, the camera feed gets cut off, indicating someone is trying to hijack the plant. With the proximity alert sounding off, he grabs his shotgun and races down the engine room quietly to locate the source of the intrusion. As the emergency light flickers for a second, he shoots one of the armed individuals that appeared by the hallway. He is then forced to fight off the men, leading to a cat-and-mouse game, as he uses all the available work tools in the facility as weapons to fend them off. After taking out most of the intruders, he returns to the control room but gets jumped by another masked man. Shoving him to the next room, he grabs a cart of hazardous chemicals, pushes it toward him, and ignites it, leading to a massive explosion. He inspects the dead man, revealing him as a Russian soldier. A radio transmission feeds through from the Swedish Air Forces, but he cannot reply due to the cut cable lines. Sensing a disturbance at Vånga station, a helicopter team is ordered to head out. Still, halfway through the journey, the soldiers seem trapped in a trance, with the pilots knocked unconscious. On the road toward the power plant, Alex and Anna get stuck with several motorists trying to pass through opposing lanes. Anna prompts him for an explanation as to where they are going since she needs to pick up Aileen. Still, he is unable to explain the occurrences. Just then, birds start falling from the sky for some unknown reason. As the drivers start arguing, Alex sees two helicopters crash in their area, making everyone panic and drive towards the gate of the power plant. As Alex gets everyone out of the car, he slams into another vehicle, knocking him unconscious and injuring him on the head. Anna and another lady carry him inside the plant as the automated door closes, leaving many more behind outside. A distressed Connie tries to get the door open for his wife, Julia. Still, Bjorn intervenes, saying that terrorists have knocked out power transformers across the country and they will be back to destroy their plant. He is then stunned when he sees his son and immediately places him on a wheeled table with the help of the survivors. While everyone tries to wait for rescue, Bjorn administers first aid to Alex. At the same time, Anna demands to be let out to recover Aileen. He declines, hoping to do it himself, but Anna handcuffs him so he can stay behind and spend some time caring for his long-lost son. Meanwhile, Eva is rescued in the middle of the forest by the armed forces and subjected to decontamination. She is brought before some soldiers who explain that the infection spreading among the citizens is from rain, indicating a chemical attack that induces Alzheimer's-like symptoms. Hoping to get aid from the Prime Minister, Eva mentions that he died during the attack. She then protests the commanding officer to use available transmission lines to warn more people, but he declines, leading to a standoff among the other officers, including Anna's husband Kim, who wants to help the minister. He is subdued at the expense of the second in command, who is shot accidentally. Eva is then led into a chamber to transmit an emergency broadcast. At the power plant, Alex awakens, surprised to see his father chained up to the railing. Old issues arise as he and Bjorn start blaming each other for their mistakes as a family. Alex then reveals that Clara is dead, devastating his father. As Eva's message plays out, explaining the situation, Alex ventures out in search of Anna, not knowing the effects of the chemical rain may affect him. Surprisingly, she sees her on the road, along with Aileen, whom she recently rescued from the Air Force Academy, believing Kim has died. As the sound of helicopters draws near, they head back to the power plant to rescue Anna's grandmother and the citizens inside. Alex lets Anna lead everyone out as he returns to the control room to save his father. After being freed, he and Bjorn fix the radio to contact the military and reveal they will wait for them at the church. Alex is bewildered when he hears Kim's voice, knowing he survived. The team immediately responds and heads out, along with Minister Eva. As Bjorn instructs his son to leave with him, he refuses, bringing back old feelings of resentment. They scuffle, with Alex beating his father up. The remaining Swedish military reaches an encampment, with Kim wanting to travel alone to Vånga to rescue Anna and Aileen. Just then, enemy forces attack from the darkness, shooting Eva dead. Kim rushes to an armored vehicle and drives away from the crossfire, leaving his colleague Thalin behind after being fatally shot. Meanwhile, Alex heads out with Anna, Aileen, and her grandmother as he picks out a working car to drive. The residents are shocked to see another explosion while enemy soldiers corner Alex. He enters a car and goes off hurriedly, only to leap out when it crashes through a downed helicopter. He hides for a moment under the tall grass before the soldiers leave the area. Unfortunately, another helicopter spots and chases him with gunfire. Fortunately, Bjorn intervenes and takes down a helicopter from his airplane. While hiding in his father's shed, he finds the broken homemade guitar he did not know he was gifting him. Bjorn's plane crashes into his home, burning it down. Alex then sees his father climb out and, with his last breath, sits on a chair, grabs the guitar, and declares it the only gift that will make him happy. The old man then dies. With that realization, he leaves the area and arrives at the church, finding Anna and the other residents safe. He then takes a moment to give her the song he wrote for her, but the rain has given him memory loss, and the next thing he sees is Anna being taken away by the military. He then thinks about what might have been if he had given the letter that Christmas Day. The movie ends with news reports about the attack spreading worldwide, with the United Nations condemning the attack. Over 800,000 people lost their memories based on the government's findings. A professor then asks who is to blame for the attack. Another news report features Putin talking about the economy, implying that Russia was the culprit. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this to help the channel out. Have a nice day.